York says the federal government.
Good morning and welcome to the WSJM video live stream, the morning show for Monday, December 16th. We're just a week and a couple of days outside of Christmas.
Yep.
Got your Christmas shopping done?
Yes, I do.
Do
Yeah.
you? Wow. I've almost got it done. I've got a couple of folks taken care of, one person partially taken care of, and then Stephanie and I have travel coming up, and so the travel is our Christmas gift to each other.
Yes.
So we'll do that.
It's so nice.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun. And then let's see what else do we have going on. So this hour we're going to talk about the McDonald's because it just astounds me. I guess I never really put much thought into it about a McDonald's closing.
Yeah,
because it just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen.
No.
So I wonder what Mayor
Mayor McCheese.
I wonder what Mayor McCheese thinks about this. We contacted Mayor McCheese for comment.
He said it was fake news.
He said fake cheese.
Fake cheese. What a cheesy question.
That's a load of mayo. That's just a load of bad mayo.
Somebody spiked your fries.
The Hamburglar seen ransacking the place after they closed it. What are you doing? You playing games over there? What are you doing?
I'm waiting for my live stream to pop up.
Oh, well, it says it's on.
I know, but I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
And if it is, then I'm going to be like,
have you become the official verifier that our live stream is up?
Yeah, and then I always say good morning to everybody. So,
well, you can do that here on the microphone as well.
Good morning, everyone.
Yes,
but that way I can verify that we're live.
Trust but verify.
Right.
Trust but verify. All right. Let's see what else do we have.
I need more Facebook authority.
We talk. Yeah. Right. That's the thing we've been talking about this morning is the drone stuff has happened since almost a month now. November 18th is when we started getting these. Hey, why are there drones hovering around here in the middle of the? Can you turn that off?
It's me.
Yeah, turn that off.
I'm in two places at once.
All right. Anyway, we're almost a month out of these drone reports, and it's unbelievable that we still have not received any confirmation whatsoever on who they are.
No.
So is it possible that the government is just like they thought this isn't anything that we need to be concerned about? It's not us. It's not anybody coming from Iran. What do we care? Is it possible they got caught flat-footed in just dismissing it, and now it seems like, oh, there could be an issue here?
Could be. I mean, obviously it's possible, but
why New Jersey?
Yeah, that's the thing. Maybe because they figured nobody cares about New Jersey. I don't know.
Or maybe they wanted to see kind of the initial reaction of, hey, we've got just some low-level military stuff around this area. Let's see what the reaction is. And now they're starting with, they've got some, there was some in the military base area around California, some in the military base area around Boston, some in the that was a small airport, by the way. And then some in the military base area in Ohio.
Right.
I don't know. Are we just?
But there's videos.
Maybe it's like when you're car shopping and you decide on the make and model that you want. Yeah. You just start seeing them all over the place.
That's a good point.
Maybe it's that.
Right.
These things can happen all the time anyway.
Confirmation bias.
Right. Fancy words.
But I just don't understand how if you fly a little plane over a protected airspace,
you get immediately shot down by the F-16s.
Yeah, they scramble until you need to move out.
They do.
Helicopters, whatever. And so in the midst of all this, nobody can get up there and be like, hey, what's going on?
I got a sneeze coming on.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Don't look at the light.
All right. We've got to get some news in, and then we'll come back and talk more about McDonald's and drones and anything else you want to talk about. It's the WSJM morning video live stream. Like, follow, subscribe.
And hit the bell for notification.
And hit the bell. Is there really a bell?
Yes.
Okay. All right. We'll be right back.
There's a bell.
Or a loved one this holiday season. For an exclusive offer, go to bioptimizers.com/radio and use promo code radio during checkout to save 10% and transform your health. That's bioptimizers.com/radio.
WSJM News Now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
And good morning. Well, Okay, just hit the right button combination and they'll put us on the air. Look at that. It's as simple as that. Hey, it's good morning. It's the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. Here with me this morning is Mike Weibel. It's Monday, December 16th, 7:05 a.m. We've got some rain out there. It's kind of intermittent right now, but definitely wet roadways and some fog reported in areas. But right now we've got 45 degrees and cloudy skies in Benton Harbor, 45 and cloudy in St. Joseph, 44 degrees in South Haven, 46 in Buchanan, 46 in New Buffalo, and 46 degrees in Dowagiac. Again, visibility, not really an issue. I think the worst of the worst is like a 2-mile visibility. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
Because we're not flying at Mach speed here. No. We're not a drone going through.
And if you are driving that fast, you've got other issues.
You got other issues, exactly. Forecast for today does call for cloudy skies. 60% chance of rain. The high today is going to get around 53 degrees. So watch the crocuses start sprouting out and blossoming. South winds 15 to 20 miles per hour, gusting to 30. Tonight's forecast, cloudy skies, west winds 10 to 15, gusts to 30. Tuesday, it's going to be partly to mostly cloudy tomorrow, low around 32 and the high around 40. As we get into Wednesday, we're going to see a high around 38 degrees. Thursday, the high is going to be around 32. Same for Friday, and we're going to keep a chance of precipitation, whether that's a rain, snow mix or whatever, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of this week. Some of the news that we're following from the WSJM newsroom this morning in what's being called a shocking development locally that happened over the weekend. The Stevensville McDonald's at 4661 Red Arrow Highway, that's exit 23.
Yep.
Just off the I-94, apparently closed for good. The report first through moodyonthemarket.com says there's no official word yet from the Indiana-based owners on why they've closed, but there were signs and blockades in the parking lot indicating the closure. There are also reports indicating a higher level of customer dissatisfaction at that location.
I would confirm that.
Compared to other areas. We'll talk about that on the video live stream here in a minute, but recently, exit 23 at I-94 was the area where you had intermittent road work and some closures for a good many months. I mean, it was all summer long.
Yeah.
All summer long, because they had to do the bridge replacement and they were doing the on-ramps and all kinds of stuff. They were painting the landscaping on. But anyway, the other food outlets in the neighborhood weathered the interruption. There was even, in fact, one new one that popped up. The Galley Grill moved over there to be the AM Cafe. But McDonald's, Stevensville, exit 23.
You think they're going to try to go back on the state and get some compensation for
maybe
lost revenue?
Yeah, I mean, it's a possibility. Could say, you broke our business model
right
by reducing the amount of traffic volume. It's definitely a possibility. Something to follow up on.
Yeah.
moodyonthemarket.com is following up with a franchise operator as well for comments. So far, crickets. All right. Other news that we're following, the River Valley. The River Valley School District has announced a new academic scholarship for high school seniors planning to pursue a degree in music. Superintendent Dave Campbell says the scholarship aims to inspire students to explore music as a viable career and it highlights the diverse possibilities that career in music can offer.
Scholarships like this give kids hope, and so does building skills. Building kids' skills, that gives them hope, teaching them to read well, to think well, to write well, to compute well. And so I'm just thrilled to partner with anybody in our community that wants to help kids to develop their hope and their inspiration to go make something of themselves in whatever area it is that they're interested in.
The Garth Taylor School of American Music Scholarship, made possible by the Michigan Arts Foundation, offers $1,000 per year up to 4 years. Students can apply for the scholarship starting this winter. And a new book on the history of Niles is in the works. Yeah, the Niles City Council has approved a contract with Arcadia Publishing for this project. Niles History Center Director Christina Arsenault tells us Arcadia approached the city with the idea. It's published pictorial history books about several Michigan towns, including St. Joseph. The Niles History Center is now working with Arcadia on this new project.
So we started gathering some photos. We have a huge photo collection at the Niles History Center, and we've sort of roughly divided it up into chapters. There'll probably be about 8 chapters. And other than that, we're just starting to get into the process of how we're going to organize it.
Arsenault says the book will largely focus on more recent history, but it will also build on the past.
people have been living here for thousands of years. The French built a trading post here in 1691. So there's a lot of history there. There's no photographs, so our book probably isn't going to go quite as far back to that time period, but certainly that's going to be mentioned. That's part of the developmental story as well.
Arsenault says she also wants the book to reflect some African American and women's history, things that sometimes are overlooked. She expects the book will become available in the spring of 2026 and says it will be sold at the History Center as well as local shops. And one more reminder to wash your hands. Cases of whooping cough still on the rise in Michigan. It's most dangerous for infants under the age of 1, but many of the kids that are unvaccinated for it are school-aged. Veronica McNally is the president of the Franny Strong Foundation, who suffered a family loss from the disease.
In 2012, we lost our daughter, Francesca Marie, to pertussis, which is also known as whooping cough. She fought a short but heroic battle against the disease. Her death was awful, but we honor her legacy every day by advocating for the prevention of diseases like this through vaccination.
More than half of infants who contract pertussis or whooping cough require hospitalization. Michigan is currently facing a significant increase, so they're urging you to catch up on your vaccinations. Couldn't hurt to wash your hands as well.
Right.
Because a lot of folks, they don't do that. They touch doorknobs, then you touch the doorknobs, then you touch your eyeballs, and then all of a sudden you got the whooping cough.
So do you have a Apple Watch?
I don't. I gave it to my son, Samuel.
Well, it's got the little hand washing thing on it.
Oh, really?
So as soon as you start washing your hands, it times you.
Oh.
So that you do it for 30 seconds, and then it gives you a little notification that you did it. And so it's kind of, and it just detects when you're washing your hands all by itself.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like that. And, because if you don't have a timer, you can just sing happy birthday.
You could.
Which is what I do every time I go to the bathroom. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday.
Oh, you're talking about washing your hands?
Yeah.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
I don't know.
All right,
we've got singing happy birthday to yourself in the bathroom. It's disconcerting.
We've got more to talk about.
We're live streaming for
It's the WSJM morning show, and we'll be back in a minute. We've got more to talk about, including on the live stream. We'll talk about the McDonald's closure in Stevensville. We'll also talk about drones and anything else. In fact, we should probably talk about your weekend.
Oh yeah,
let's save that. Let's save that for the radio. We'll do that here in just a moment on WSJM.
Buffalo quarterback Josh Allen ran for a pair of first quarter.
Can't believe you. You're trying to get us in trouble on Monday before a holiday week.
Hey, I didn't talk about the dog show.
Dog show. Oh, that one. That was funny.
That was. I listened to it. I listened to it on Friday because you sent me the recording.
Yeah.
Yeah, I listened to it.
You listened to it again on Friday.
Just laughing.
What we're talking about is Mike and I were talking about a dog show, and the money in dog shows basically when you get a champion is when you breed the dog, because everyone wants the champion lineage.
Right. I
didn't use so artful of words, and it was still funny.
It was funny though.
Yeah, it was funny. Speaking of animals, I want to get to this one before it zooms out of our time limits here. Let's see. There's a lot of stuff to talk about this morning. Dolphins. This is horrible. They'll use dolphins for everything. So dolphins are pretty intelligent mammals.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We like dolphins. People swim with the dolphins. Use dolphins. We've used dolphins for mine detection during the wars and other non-war times. But the drug dealers apparently have discovered that dolphins are good water-bound mules for drugs.
Oh, no.
Yes. Traces of fentanyl were found inside bottlenose dolphins that were found dead in the Gulf of Mexico, raising concerns that the deadly drug may be affecting other sea life. No, this isn't. They didn't find the actual drugs inside the dolphins.
Okay.
They were swimming in the waters. But I think that they're probably going to try to do that at some point.
Yeah.
Attach the fentanyl, in the little balloons to the dolphins.
Right. And they're swinging with a little buoy behind them. Sort of like a pigeon, only a dolphin.
Oh my goodness. Researchers from Texas A&M Corpus Christi studied 89 dolphins from 3 areas in the Gulf of Mexico. 83 of them were living, 6 were found dead. Of the 89 dolphins that were studied, 30 contained trace amounts of the drug in their system, including 24 that had traces of fentanyl. All 6 dolphins definitely had traces of fentanyl. So, I mean, if it's in their system,
right,
it's probably in our systems too.
Oh yeah. And it's so toxic. That's the thing,
Fentanyl.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. When I had kidney stones, I think they gave me some, and it was pretty good.
You liked it?
Yeah, well, it was the medical grade stuff, but I mean, you have to be careful with that stuff because everything, just like when we talk about disposing of the prescription drugs, you never want to put them in your toilet and flush them down because that just ends up back in the water system where we're all sharing the drugs then later.
Right.
And who knows how long have we been doing that?
Decades.
Yeah, decades getting into the water system and having that impact, that effect.
And I'm just assuming the cartels are probably not as environmentally friendly as
You think? That's why I'm thinking it's only a matter of time before they start using them as mules.
Right. Well, we got the whales. We talked about the whales. They were carrying salmon on their heads.
Yeah, the
So
orcas. Yeah.
if you could feel fentanyl in salmon, you could even get the orcas to traffic for you.
In dolphins.
Yeah.
Dolphins, yeah. Let's see. RFK, we talked about that. Oh, this one was interesting. We'll talk about the Russian tankers here in a second, but and then we'll talk about your trip to Chicago.
Okay.
Maybe we'll talk about your trip to Chicago first.
Okay.
We'll do that.
All right.
All right. It's WSJM Morning Show. Good morning. John says top of the morning. I'm sure there are others there too. All right. We'll be right back.
Stevensville.
Cloudy skies with areas of fog and rain, at least for the first half of the day, and then some clearing this afternoon and this evening. We'll top out at 53. It will be breezy. The winds tonight out of the west will drop down to 32. And tomorrow, I'll mix of the sun and clouds. High temperatures right around 40 degrees. We'll be back in the 30s with chances of snow as we head into Wednesday and end of the week. I'm meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
It is the WSJM Morning Show, and I'm Ken Lundberg. Here with me this morning is Mike Weibel, 717. We were just about to talk about Russian tankers that wrecked off somewhere in the Black Sea. So we'll talk about that in a second. But you had a good weekend.
I did.
You went to Chicago for the weekend.
Went to the big city.
It's nice to get away.
It is.
I mean, especially when you have, the skies that we had this weekend, which are just kind of, the indicative of the winter time across anywhere in Michigan is going to be gray, cloudy, a little bit misty. And so you decided going to hop over and see Chicago.
Did.
What'd you do?
We ran in on Saturday and we stayed at the athletic club on Michigan Avenue.
Ooh,
very cool place.
Very nice. Is that near the Federal Reserve?
I don't know.
Okay. I think it's close to the Federal Reserve there. Anyway. Very nice.
But right on Millennium Park.
Inside the Federal Reserve, you can see like $1 million cash.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
they have it under glass though.
I'm sure.
You can't touch it. All right. So keep going.
So yeah, we were there and then we went to the Kris Kringle Market.
Oh.
And
what is that?
It is they do it in the Daily Center. Well, that was the original place, is the Daily Center. Now it's in 3 or 4 other places. In fact, they even have one in Grand Rapids now. But it's a huge market and it started off of kind of Austrian and German ornaments and crafts. And
also, it's a big Christmas bazaar type thing.
Yeah. And they have German beer and German food. And so it's so
more than just arts and crafts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we had pierogies, bratwurst, a couple different types of German beer. We got commemorative beer steins while we were there.
Really?
Yeah. But it was jam packed. I've never been there. We usually go at night, but I've never been there where it's so absolutely crowded. It was, yeah.
As a Kris Kringle Market.
Yeah.
Oh. Did you get any ornaments? Did you buy ornaments?
Not this year. In fact, that was kind of our usual thing.
Yeah.
Like the spire on top of our tree is from there. And we bought, every year we would buy something, but it was so packed. My wife said, we're out.
Never again.
No, yeah. It was cold. Again, it was supposed to be 45, whatever. And you thought it's going to be crazy ball. It was cold in Chicago. So windy, the Windy City. But yeah, so we went there. We wandered back. We went to dinner at a place called Remington's, just down from the hotel. Okay. Really, we've ate there before.
Good food?
Yeah, very good food.
What'd you have?
She had prime rib and I had a filet.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And crab cakes as an appetizer.
Okay.
So they have, and they're kind of known for their raw oysters. They have,
yum.
Yeah. So you can choose like where they come from and whatnot.
I like mine from the water.
Yeah. Well, that's a good place. Yeah. Yeah. So we did that, and then we went to the They have an observation deck restaurant bar up on top of the hotel, and they had little fire pits, so you can look over Millennium Park, and That was fun.
We've been watching Windy City Rehab recently.
Yeah,
you ever watch that?
Yep, I have.
And it, I don't know why we watch it, because it just induces stress. Every time.
Why?
Every time we watch it, it's like, well, how much budget do you have? Number one, they come up with these outrageous, astronomical budgets.
Yeah.
And because it's Windy City Rehab, so they're all in Chicago.
Right.
And some of the properties are pretty high dollar properties to begin with. It's like, here, I've got this $1 million penthouse, and we want to renovate it. Okay, what's your budget? And it's so funny how they ask the question. It's like, oh, what's your budget?
Right.
And the people are so forthcoming with it. Oh, well, we have $1.2 million to spend on this.
Yes.
It's like, what?
Yeah,
why would you ever tell somebody
whatsoever.
your budget?
Right.
Because, it's like they're going to use the whole thing.
Right.
And number two, every time they give the budget number, they don't break it down into, okay, this is going to be part of the renovation, the structural, right? The timbers and everything else that are going into your house. And this part of it, a much smaller part, is going to be for the design.
So my one of my sons lives in Chicago, and so we had breakfast with him on Sunday.
Has he been on Windy City Rehab?
No.
Okay.
But we went to a little breakfast place.
Oh,
No,
sorry.
called Wake and Bacon.
Wake and Bacon. Okay.
Yeah, it was a cool little restaurant, but took us 30 minutes to find a parking spot. I mean, we went around and around and around.
Would you like trying to park on the street or something like that?
Yeah, because all street parking. It's all street parking there.
Oh, they don't have like a parking tower or something like that? That's my go-to. Is I never want to park on the street if I don't have to, unless there's like tons of spaces.
Right.
Give me the parking tower.
Yeah. So it was but my son lives close to that, so he walked over.
Okay.
So again, one of those things that your kids sort of do when they forget that you have to park at F-150 in Chicago, and they're walking over. I'm like, what?
That's your choice, though. Taking a pickup to a big city, that's always challenging.
It is.
I get nervous with a truck.
Yeah.
Inside the parking towers.
Oh yeah.
Because
the little bridge.
Yeah. The little sign that warns you the height restriction. Sometimes you hit it and it just kind of swings around.
Like, or you go through it, but the antenna on the truck will scrape across the concrete. I've had that where it's
your blood pressure goes sky high. So
you only get stuck once.
So you had good food, good time?
Yeah, good food, good time, and so it was
no
nice.
shootings while you were there.
And
you felt safe.
The city was crowded. I mean, a lot of people walking.
Yeah.
Food trucks everywhere.
This time of year, Chicago is a beautiful city to visit during the day when you're Christmas shopping.
Yeah,
because there's just a ton of activity.
Although we went to Macy's, which is
a mistake.
You think, you think about the Macy's of lore in the past.
Yeah,
those days are gone.
Yeah,
so no window, fancy Christmas window stuff.
Okay,
and then the Marshall Fields is now at Target.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. So it needs to say no fancy there. So that part of it was kind of depressing that part of Christmas is no longer in Chicago, but the rest of it was very cool. I mean, we had a great time.
Okay. Very good. Well, thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
So if you're looking for weekend trip tips, Mike Weibel right here.
Yep.
He's got
Try
Chicago
the Athletic
covered.
Club.
Next stop for you. Why don't we send you to Detroit?
Okay.
For that.
Yeah.
And that's a nice town as well.
Yeah, as long as you know where you're going.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's that. But apparently they opened the botanical garden once again in the middle there. We'll talk about that later. I want to get to this Russian tanker story. 2 Russian oil tankers have been badly damaged in the Black Sea, and they're basically spilling oil, according to authorities in Russia. So take it with a grain of salt. Footage released by Russia's Southern Transport Prosecutor's Office, why would the prosecutor's office release this? Showed the bow of one tanker completely broken off with streaks of oil visible in the water. Both tankers are believed to have drifted before running aground offshore. At least one crew member reportedly killed. Now, the incident took place in the Kerch Strait, which separates Russia from Crimea, which is the Ukrainian peninsula illegally annexed by Moscow back in 2014. A rescue operation involving tugboats, helicopters, more than 50 personnel saw about 13 crew members rescued from one of the tankers before being suspended due to bad weather. So the 14 remaining crew members aboard the second tanker are said to have everything necessary for immediate life support on board with them, but they are apparently going to be stranded until conditions there improve. They had been carrying about 4,300 tons of oil each, according to Russian officials. A Russian tanker used for trading Russian crude oil internationally generally has much larger capacity of around 120,000 deadweight tons. So they said basically it could have been worse. It could have been worse. But you think about this, and you're talking about that area that's obviously in dispute, Crimea Peninsula, and you've got two Russian oil tankers at the same time that all of a sudden drift in harsh weather and crash into each other or crash into the rocks or whatever they crashed into and break apart.
Right.
That's interesting.
It is.
I mean, two, not one, two.
And wasn't it like 2-3 weeks ago when they dragged an anchor?
It was
for miles and tore up internet.
Well, within the last month, the report was it was a Chinese tanker that dragged anchor for more than 100 miles. And all they found on board was they found the Chinese crew, but then they found a Russian sailor aboard as well.
Yeah.
It's like one Russian guy calling the shots there. But I don't know. I wonder if NATO still has that ship surrounded. We should probably look into that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, do a little follow-up story. All right. Let's see. So Russian tankers spilling oil. Other bad stuff, talking about liquid. Have you heard about what's happening over in Fiji and kind of in that neck of the woods as far as bootleg alcohol poisoning tourists?
No.
Yes. So we saw a story a few weeks ago about something in Southeast Asia where apparently of age or just about of age tourists getting bad alcohol to the point where it actually killed some people. Unfortunately. And so the government there, not wanting to see their tourism dollars squashed, immediately sent people in to investigate and said, okay, we got to get rid of all this counterfeit alcohol because it's poisoning people, and that's not good for business.
Right.
7 tourists have now sought hospital treatment for suspected poisoning after drinking cocktails at a bar in Fiji. And the whole thing's now being investigated by police. It's apparently an upscale Fiji resort. 4 Australians, along with 3 other people believed to be foreign nationals, were taken to the hospital after being served drinks made at a bar at the Warwick, Fiji, on Saturday. I mean, so it's not like a slum lounge or a fly-by-night. We're talking about the Warwick here. The tourists, who were ages 18 all the way to 56, suffered nausea, vomiting, and neurological symptoms after drinking these cocktails. How horrible is that? You're going to Fiji, of all places in the world.
Dream vacation.
You've got probably the little huts on the water and everything else, and all of a sudden, hey, I'll have a Mai Tai or something like that. What do you recommend, bartender?
Yeah, what's the drink of the day?
Well, I'll give you this. This comes just weeks after as we talked about, 6 tourists died from methanol poisoning in their drinks.
How horrible.
That was in Laos, in a case that prompted all kinds of safety warnings around the region. Asked whether methanol was to blame in this case, the Secretary of the Fiji's Ministry of Health and Medical Services said, too soon to tell. We don't have the results of the investigation yet. We don't know if it was spiking or anything else until we complete our investigation. Yeah. So they say it's an isolated occurrence, but if you're headed to Fiji this Christmas, maybe go dry.
Yes.
Dry December. Let's see. What else? Oh, did you see this one over the weekend? Former Google CEO Eric Schmidt. Eric Schmidt. This is a guy who knows.
Yes.
He was in charge at Google. He's now warning that we might think about unplugging AI.
Yeah.
I mean, he's warning that when a computer system reaches a point when it can self-improve, he said, quote, we seriously need to think about unplugging it. What do you make of that comment?
I think I've heard about stuff like that in the past. At one point, Meta or Facebook supposedly was dipping their toe in AI, and the computer started writing its own code because it was more efficient than the coders.
Yes.
So that they couldn't understand. And so they finally had to unplug it and shut it off.
Yeah.
I mean, what happens when AI realizes, hey, we're gonna chop the shut off button, and now you won't be able to shut me off.
I've never seen innovation at this scale, Schmidt said on ABC over the weekend. He's celebrating what he calls a remarkable human achievement of AI, but he also warned of the unforeseen dangers of rampant development. He said, we're soon going to be able to have computers running on their own, deciding what they want to do.
Right.
Yikes. When a system begins to self-improve, he said, it may be time to consider pulling the plug. Asked if a powerful system could counter the efforts to shut it down, as Mike just predicted. In theory, we better have somebody with a hand on the plug. Well, that's great.
Yeah.
In theory he continued, the power of this intelligence means that each and every person is going to have the equivalent of a polymath in their pocket, which I don't know what that means, but I imagine it makes you feel smart.
Yeah, or scary.
Yeah. We just don't know what it means to give that kind of power to every individual. Well, I can tell you what it means. What it means is you can have drones flying over New Jersey that go undetected and unhindered, unfettered for a month.
And not even Chuck Schumer knows what to do about it.
Right? Yeah, when the majority leader of the Senate is like, we need some better detection systems here.
Yeah.
You might think about looking into it.
Yeah. I think that would be wise.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we'll talk about that and more. We've got ABC News coming up in just a moment. We've got Bloomberg. They'll give us our market minute here in just a moment. And the video live stream continues. Some chit chat behind the scenes coming up right now on WSJM.
Would you call free checking that pays?
AI. Go.
I think it's the buzz around AI, where everything in the past probably 2 years, right. If it's new, it's AI. Like there's even some golf equipment out that's called AI. Has nothing to do with AI, but it's just because AI is hot.
Is the thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And even with investors, people were wanting to invest in anything that had to do with AI because it was going to be so big.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, well, we don't have a grid to support all the AI. And it was like, oh.
What do you mean grid? Like the
power grid?
Oh, the massive power that it would take to run that stuff?
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, if AI can co-op a couple nuclear plants, then it's got all the power it needs.
I wonder if AI has its own social security number.
I don't know.
Not yet.
If it did, that would stop it from working.
Yeah.
Wait a second, you've got to do mandatory withdrawal.
AI has a government department.
Yeah. No, I mean, we have, basically artificial intelligence, you're right. It's a very loose term and it's applied to a whole lot of stuff. And once the artificial intelligence that the Google CEO, ex-CEO we're talking about, once that started becoming popular, then everything and its brother was called AI. In fact, we use a transcription service, online transcription program that is able to listen to our news interviews, listen to our show and everything else, and give me a full transcription in a matter of seconds, which is just beautiful. It used to take a whole lot more time. There used to be human intervention, and it used to cost money.
Yeah.
Now, 2 out of the 3 of those things are gone, and it still costs us a little bit of money, but we do it.
Right.
Because it makes our jobs faster and easier. That's artificial intelligence.
Right.
I think the artificial intelligence they're talking about here is the kind that is not only solving math problems of the future, but also thinking about how can we improve all the things that we're doing without humans slowing us down.
Right.
That becomes a problem.
Well, and when it goes back to remember that movie iRobot?
Oh yeah.
So it's calculating what is the highest percentage of success.
Right.
And if it chooses against you, well, then
you're done.
Right.
Yeah.
And so,
no ethics, no morals.
No. Right.
Who needs that?
No valor, none of that. It would just be, yeah. So it's rather than being in a conflict like Russia, Ukraine, then I'm sure AI would say, just drop a nuke and get it over with. Which
or turn the power off.
Right.
In the middle of winter.
Or fly some drones over it. But nonetheless, there's those types of things that has no human moral compass to it that could be very bad for us.
Well. And you think about a McDonald's in Stevensville.
Right. Or just a glitch. Could you imagine if a
glitch in the AI?
Like the airline that did the what was it that had the glitch?
Oh, it's like Qantas, and they accidentally sold first class for real cheap.
Right.
right? Or something. Here, hang on. We got to get back in just a moment. It's the WSJM Morning Show.
Company is working with a bank to find buyers for its Versace and Jimmy Choo brands. Stock futures are rising on this Monday morning. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
You know what I don't like about artificial intelligence? What? The cats it keeps putting in my Instagram feed.
Yeah, that's brutal.
It puts cats in there. It says, I've seen this recurring one in my algorithm. I have no idea why. Make the most fantastic music video out of this. And it shows like clearly artificial intelligence stuff.
Right.
Because it's like Alien doing. Oh, there was another one. There was an alien, the alien from Alien.
Yeah.
Alien Predator and all that. There was an alien singing a Christmas song, which was really funny. It just looks so real.
Yeah.
It looks too real, and that's why I don't like it.
Right. Well, that's the thing is, like, even on social media now, they talk about all the bots that are out there.
Oh, interacting and being there,
and
being
so
present.
Some of the people that are following you and liking you are not even real.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
They're just
fake.
Again, they're just gathering intel and data.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's where the money's being made on social media is the big data.
Right.
Because you collect all the in fact, I saw something about you know how we think, and I still think that my phone's listening to me and my smart TV's listening to me.
Yeah.
I think they're all listening to me because they hear a conversation between me and my wife, and then all of a sudden I start seeing stuff like that show up in my algorithm. Well, somebody was trying to debunk that, saying, no, it's not listening to you. It's just seeing that you looked it up, and then all of a sudden, because you're using the same IP address or web address or whatever, the Wi-Fi router, then all of a sudden it starts showing up on your wife's phone. I say poppycock because it's definitely listening and plugging those algorithms in.
I would agree.
Yeah.
We've had conversations at our house, not Google searches.
Right.
Conversations about something very random and obscure, and then 2 days later, you go on Google and it shows up as an ad, or it shows up on your Facebook feed,
right? Trying to sell you something,
right?
Yeah, and so again, that's my point is that's where the money is being made. It's the big data. It's like, okay, well, what are they talking about? What are they searching for? What are they posting about? What are they excited about when they post? Because all along the consumer journey, there's all kinds of different points where if you put this message out at the right time, you might get them. It's just like fishing. It's just like fishing for bass.
I've heard, the free games that you can download.
You do the North Carolina
phone.
drop shot where you just kind of,
bounce along. But the free games you download on your phone, the apps that are free.
Oh, I never do that.
Yeah.
Well, I always do that.
The reason they're free is they're collecting data and listening.
Oh, absolutely. Nothing's free. Yeah.
No. Yeah. And they said I know a couple of years back, they were saying that they listen to commercials. So when you're watching TV and your phone is sitting there, it's listening to what commercials you're listening to and then selling that data.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, if you got free stuff on your phone, which I've got a couple on there. So, and I figure if they want to listen, go ahead, but
sell my data. Right. I don't care.
You want my data? I got some data for you.
I wonder if is there like a puppy chow channel you can just like leave your phone open,
wouldn't that be funny?
On next to it, and all of a sudden everyone gets dog food commercials for a month. That'd be kind of fun.
Or just mess with the AI.
Mess with the algorithm. Yeah. I think there'll become a day, and it may already be here, where we're no longer messing with the AI. It's messing with us.
Yeah, well, I think that's probably already.
All right, 7:38. It's the WSJM Morning Show. We promise not to mess with you. Let's bring you some news from ABC.
ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. Elected leaders continue to call for more federal help in determining the source of drones spotted over northeastern states. ABC's Whit Johnson has the latest.
Federal officials reiterate many of these reported sightings are airplanes or legally operated civilian drones. Sometimes distinguishing the difference can be difficult. The Biden administration insisting it has no evidence to suggest a national security threat or foreign involvement, but promising more resources to help solve the mystery.
President-elect Trump's cabinet picks continue their meetings with lawmakers on Capitol Hill. Robert Kennedy Jr., the choice for health secretary, has more than 24 meetings scheduled. And Senator Lindsey Graham says the nominee for Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth told him he would allow the woman who's accused him of sexual misconduct to be released from a non-disclosure agreement. Graham says the woman should come forward at Hegseth's confirmation hearing. This is ABC News.
WSJM News Now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
It is the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. Here with me this morning is Mike Weibel because it's Monday and because, we just like hanging out. It's Monday. I'll see you again on Friday. But later on this week, Wednesday, as a matter of fact, we'll have none other than Pat Moody joining me for a couple hours.
I know, it's exciting.
This is going to be fun.
So
and Mike,
Pat Moody studio.
What's your challenge to listeners during the 7 o'clock hour for Pat on Wednesday?
So you can post photos on the stream. So take a picture of yourself with your collar up, and send it to Pat.
Yeah. So what you're suggesting, Mike, is let's show some holiday season support for Pat.
Yeah.
Because he's a wonderful guy.
And it's kind of his trademark.
It's his trademark, the popped collar.
Yeah.
So he's going to be here on the show on Wednesday. And so, Mike, you're suggesting post on Facebook, because that's the easiest place to post them. Let's do it on Facebook. Facebook, the popped collar.
Yeah.
During the 7 o'clock hour, during the live stream.
Pop a collar for
Pat.
And
then I'll show him to Pat and we'll hear his laugh.
Oh, yeah.
So it'll be fun. All right. Some of the news that's coming up Wednesday. Some of the news that we're following here in the WSJM newsroom this morning. Outgoing Berrien County Drain Commissioner Chris Quattrin is responding after Berrien County commissioners last week questioned a loan arrangement he set up for a drain project in Chickaming and New Buffalo townships. At their regular meeting last week, Berrien County Administrator Brian Dessette said the Streed Drain project is being paid for with a loan that comes in at about 5.72% as far as an interest rate. He suggested that the county could refinance that loan at a lower rate, get the municipal rate, and save millions of dollars. Quattrin says that's not the case, and that's a mischaracterization of what he's done. So we'll hear about that. That's coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. Other things that we're following in the news today, the Berrien County Board of Commissioners received the Berrien County Park Department's new 5-year plan. We'll tell you what's in it for our area recreation centers. And there's also a new foster care service in Southwest Michigan that is looking for volunteers. We'll tell you more about those stories coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. We've got the latest now from Michigan News Network on state news. We'll have the latest on sports from Dave Wolf. That's coming up next. We'll also continue the video live stream right here on WSJM. Let's do that right now.
The Michigan News Network.
All right. So not a lot of surprise. Let's talk about McDonald's. Not a lot of surprise about the Stevensville McDonald's calling it quits. I'm shocked that someone was unable to make a McDonald's at an interstate exit not work.
Yes. That it almost seems like an effort to make it not work.
Well, I mean, what I would suggest is I know they've had a lot, just like a lot of other food establishments, I know they've had a hard time hiring help.
Yeah.
And I imagine that has a huge impact on their bottom line, having to always, bring new people in, not having enough people to cover a shift. When you bring new people in, you have to train them. So there's that additional person you have to have on staff.
Right.
All that stuff. And then add on top of that, as you mentioned, the construction that happened all summer long. But McDonald's everywhere in the world deal with that stuff on a regular basis. So there should have been some sort of formula or calculation or something like that. If you are on an interstate, if you're having major construction this season, if it's going to impact your traffic, then do this.
Right.
Just call artificial intelligence.
Exactly.
And that's also where if you're, I don't know, I've only been in business for myself in I haven't really dealt with the public at large. I just had certain clients. But my thought was keep the clients happy. Respond to their needs. If they have constructive criticism for you, do something better.
Yes.
Address it.
Right.
Sometimes, I know you're going to find this surprising, but sometimes fast food places don't listen to the customers.
What?
I know.
Probably because they're happy to let you go through and there's another one behind us.
Yeah. So, I mean, and that's probably the more the truth than anything is they'll just take it.
But how is it that they cannot automate? I mean, if they're not getting staffing, and that's where I think the real problem with some of these fast food places is now the wage that they're insinuating that they should pay is a living.
Who's insinuating?
Consumers, labor.
Okay. Well, I mean, the fact is that for a long time, especially during the pandemic, you could stay home and earn more than going out and working.
Right. But
that was a problem.
It was always a job when we grew up that when you were in high school, you went and worked at McDonald's. You didn't really expect to be working there.
I did not.
I did not either.
No, you know why I didn't?
Why?
I did a really dumb thing.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So when I was number one, there wasn't a McDonald's in my hometown. Okay. Not until after I left, years after I left. But number two, I went to the local A&W.
Okay.
Because we had an A&W.
Uh-huh.
And I remember filling out the application, and I wanted to do this on my own. My dad said, go out and get a job, Kenny. And I said, okay, I'll do it, Dad. And I wanted to do it. Right. I wanted to do it on my own. So I got the application. I'm looking at the application. Came down to this question. Are you bondable? And I said, well, shoot, no, I'm not bondable. Why in the world would I be bonded? I thought that meant like, can somebody put you in jail or something like that? So I said, no, I'm not. I mean, I was proud of it. And I give it back to them. They never called me back.
No.
Are you bondable? No.
No, my name's not James.
I then learned shortly thereafter, you are bondable if you've not committed felonies and that kind of thing. So who knows what the A&W restaurant owner thought of me there.
Well, I have not had to fill out an application for employment in quite some time, but the rigorous expectations of HR and possibly the state of Michigan is a little crazy.
How do you mean?
Well, I mean, all the things that they want you to produce to be hired.
Oh, you're talking about like
passports, driver's license,
ID and stuff like that. You got to prove who you are.
DNA.
The DNA was fun. Yeah. It's like, Mike, can you give us your DNA, please?
Yeah. The guy who cuts my hair, his phone number, cell phone number. So you get all that information, and to a kid walking in, they're like, "What?"
It's a bit intimidating,
and they just walk out,
right?
Or they shut off their computer, and then they don't apply, which. Yeah, it should be easier for especially, and maybe that's public education. Maybe you need to train people on how to fill out an application.
Yeah. I wish there had been part of the class. I guess maybe it was in home ec or something like that. I was taking wood shop, but there should be a class somewhere that, hey, if you're turning 16, you have a opportunity to go work part-time. Here's what you can expect to see on an application. Here's what everything means.
Right. This is what you need.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have that in school. That would be something that would be, to me, I would think would be huge.
Yeah. So I mean, I do think there will be something else that goes into that location. Maybe it'll be another franchise owner of McDonald's,
or
I mean
something completely different.
Or maybe it'll be a car wash. Who knows?
But Chili's, how is Chili's still not? When they moved
the
out
old
of there,
Chili's building,
I figured somebody was going to move in and take that building.
Yeah.
Again, I heard that was all because of help and food costs.
Yeah, the labor and the food costs, and people's dining habits changed greatly over the pandemic. Have they rebounded? I mean, people love getting out and going to events.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'll tell you, I mean, if I have the choice, I'd rather make my own food because I know exactly what's in it. You know, I have dietary restrictions,
right?
And so I know exactly what's in it. I know it's going to be prepared to my liking, and I know if I don't like it, I know who to get to to fix it. That's me.
We've talked about this, and this sounds, to me, it sounds horrible, but it's true. And that is, especially during COVID, we did a lot of cooking at home,
right,
and ordering food and whatnot. And so there's a lot of restaurants that when you go out, I'm like, well, we make this good of food at home.
Right.
Why am I
paying,
or better? Right. Why am I paying these prices when I can sit at home in my comfy jeans and watch Netflix and eat a really great dinner? And so I feel a little bit like a food snob when I say that, but it's true.
I think you just explained me.
Oh yeah. Sorry about that.
That's okay. No, but I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah. My wife and I have had these conversations. Like on Friday night, I'll be like, well, do you want to go out to eat? And she's like, where? Well, here, there. Well, she's like, well, but we could do, I like our steaks better, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. All right. We got to get back to the show. It is the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. There's Mike Weibel. And we'll be right back with the Moody on the Market update.
Mix of the sun and clouds. High temperatures right around 40 degrees. We'll be back in the 30s with chances of snow as we head into Wednesday and end of the week. I'm meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
And the good news is no closures, no delays, no school, no municipality closures or delays today related to the weather because we have beautiful conditions outside.
It's 46.
Yeah, it's 46 degrees outside and just a little bit of rain. I mean, the roads are wet, but we don't have any issues reported with the fog. We don't have any issues reported with any kind of torrential rain. It's just another wet morning in Michigan. So enjoy. It is time for the Moody on the Market update. I will tell you that the Moody on the Market update is brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today, your local auto owner's insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles. And, one of the things that we've been talking about is the waterfront and development. And there's a waterfront groundbreaking celebration coming up tomorrow here in the Benton Harbor area. You're invited. Cornerstone Alliance is touting a ceremonial groundbreaking this week for a project that seemed rather unlikely just a few short years ago, but now will begin taking shape on the edge of downtown Benton Harbor. The groundbreaking ceremony for the Benton Harbor Waterfront Plaza will take place tomorrow at 10 a.m., marking a step forward in transforming the community's vision, they say, for accessible and vibrant waterfront spaces. A Waterfront Plaza is located adjacent to the new Emma Jean Hull Flats apartment complex along what's generally known as the Benton Harbor Ship Canal, body of water that's been largely unused for decades. However, with new development in the neighborhood driven by Harbor Shores near completion and Whirlpool Corporation expansion, there's the new interest in a location as a connection spot with the river and even potentially a transportation link with water. The water taxi envisioned for summer tourist season between St. Joseph and the Benton Harbor downtowns. According to Cornerstone Alliance, the Benton Harbor Waterfront Plaza will connect the community to 600 feet of waterfront along Riverview Drive, offering new opportunities for recreation, relaxation, and engagement with the water. The transformative project represents a significant investment, they say, of more than $2 million to revitalize a 1-acre site into a year-round hub of activity and connectivity. Our community's future is tied to the water. That's according to Mayor Marcus Muhammad, City of Benton Harbor. The project is another important step forward in seizing the opportunity before us, and the best is yet to come. So we'll talk about that. I'm sure we'll see folks from the Michigan Economic Development Corporation there, Cornerstone, a whole bunch of others, the City of Benton Harbor. So we'll bring you more about that as that ceremonial groundbreaking happens tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. in Benton Harbor. Your Moody on the Market update. If you want to read more about that story, get all the details, it's there at moodyonthemarket.com. Moody on the Market update is brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today, your local auto owner's insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles. We've got more to come on the WSJM Morning Show, just a couple of minutes away.
Hi, this is Erin Bennett, owner of Final Design Kitchen and Bath.
That's exciting.
That is exciting. These things, they take a long time to get moving, but once they get moving, it seems like they do pretty well.
Which kind of answers to that whole summer of the reconstruction of Upton Drive and that little roadway that runs underneath the bridge there by the inn.
Yes.
Now that all kind of makes a little bit more sense.
Well, the Upton Drive's on the other side.
Yeah.
It's closer to the Yacht Club? That area.
Well,
and runs in front
past the new Whirlpool building.
Right. Well, yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it does. You're right. But I mean, there's a lot of connection points in that area. Even in the Arts District near the train tracks, there's a little bridge that goes over a waterway, and it kind of plunks you down in the middle of nowhere. Right. Well, that's not going to be nowhere for long.
No, it's not.
Because they've got on the north side of that, they have the Modern Plastics building that's going to undergo the transformation.
Yep.
And on the south side of that, in the Arts District itself, you've got that company that has taken the Thayer building and all the properties around that and transforming that, they hope, into both living and commercial opportunity. So I like it. I think it's good. Rather than just see old dilapidated buildings get older and more dilapidated, seeing that kind of renovation, it warms the cockles of my heart.
It does.
Yeah.
Kind of exciting. You think of the next 2 years.
Yeah.
You could see some really big changes.
Yeah. Yeah. And even in 2 years, in 5 years, in 10 years, I'm afraid it won't even look like what it is today. And that's a good thing.
It is.
In many cases.
I know the perception I've had is there's been a part of government that's fought that development in our areas, especially compared to some of the cities up and down the coast from us.
Yep.
But if we're going to be a destination, we're going to have to
offer more,
get on board.
Yeah. And offer more.
And offer more.
And offer more.
Right. And more and more.
And more. All right. It's the WSJM Morning Show. We'll come back in just a second and conclude our live stream. We've got about 5 minutes left before we get to ABC News.
May your home be filled with love, laughter, and the warmth of family and friends as we look forward to a bright new year.
McKee's Heating and Air. Feel at ease with McKee's.
From the Pat Moody Studios, this is News Talk Sports 94.9. WSJM FM Benton Harbor, St. Joseph. Depend on us. The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
You ready for the holidays?
I am.
You are?
Yeah, because everybody was home. The kids came home for Thanksgiving. That was fun. Then they went back home, which is good.
That's even better.
Yeah, that's good. And now they're getting ready to come back again, which is exciting. It's great when they come, and it's good when they go. So
are you of the mind that even the best fish goes bad after 3 days?
Yeah,
Me too.
Yeah, that's why when you have a guest bedroom, the mattress is never
the
comfortable.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
That makes sense. No, my dad used to say that all the time. He said, you love your relatives, you love them to death, but at the same time, even the best fish goes bad after 3 days.
Right.
So just know not to overstay your welcome. Good. Hey, it's the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. Here with me is Mike Weibel. We've been having fun on the video live stream, probably tempting fate in a couple of different ways, but
that's harsh.
No, it'll be good. Hey, Teresa, good morning. John says good morning. Bill says good morning. We've got others on there as well. So thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. We have news coming up from ABC in just a couple of minutes. Let's see. Oh, you went to Chicago this weekend.
Yep, did.
And you had a good experience.
Good experience.
You drove yourself, which was smart.
Yes.
CBS News Chicago had to help out a stranded cheerleading team who were apparently scammed out of $10,000. Yeah, the report I'm reading from says the elite team had raised money of their own. They went out, I don't know, car washes or pie bakes or bake sales or whatever. The elite team raised money for a bus to take them to a tournament in Florida. But they packed their bags, they got their uniforms steam pressed or whatever, dry cleaned. They waited for the bus. They waited for the bus. They kept waiting for the bus to get to this tournament.
Yeah.
The bus never showed up.
And scam them out of their
After
money.
a dozens of phone calls and a number of weird excuses, the young ladies realized they had been scammed out of their money. CBS News, the local CBS News affiliate, heard their story, heard their plea, and basically came to the rescue. So score one for the media.
Yeah.
They hired another bus company that offered to take them down to Tampa, and they arrived in Tampa in time for the competition.
Wow.
Can you imagine going out and doing fundraising and, I don't know. What is this world?
Scammers.
They're all over the place. Let's see. What else do we have here? Oh, no. Connie's thin crust frozen pizza. Familiar? Not familiar.
No, not familiar.
I am not familiar myself, but apparently there's been a recall due to fears that it may be contaminated with plastic. Have you ever had a frozen pizza?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever had like a thin frozen pizza where the pepperoni is in little cubes and the cheese looks like basically somebody shaved a piece of paper onto the thing? Mm-hmm. When you bake that, when you pull the plastic off of that, the vacuum sealed plastic, there's a good chance you're going to get plastic on that thing. Why are they recalling these things over plastic unless they shaved plastic on top? Connie's thin crust frozen pizza has been recalled due to fears it may have been contaminated with plastic. The pizza was sold in Illinois, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. Experts say we continue having all kinds of recalls because we've had them with cucumbers, we've had them with deli meat, we've had them for you name what. We keep having all these recalls because too many foods with longer shelf lives means there's a chance for bacteria to grow. That wasn't the case with Connie's because it was plastic.
Right.
But they say the longer the shelf life, the more opportunity for bacteria to grow. There's also insufficient cleaning procedures at the place where they manufacture the food. And also they say adding to the problem, if we just made it here in the United States, it'd be easier to regulate and control. But because we have a global food chain now, it's more difficult to trace where the problems started.
When you said Connie's frozen pizza, there's a bar in Baroda called Connie's Place.
Yes.
And I was thinking, they're selling frozen pizza?
Maybe they wouldn't maybe they wouldn't be selling their bar if they did.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right. Well, we've got more news to talk about here in just a couple of minutes. We'll have that from ABC for world and national news, and then we'll have the latest from our WSJM newsroom. The forecast for today, cloudy skies, a 60% chance of rain today, high around 53, south winds 15 to 20 miles per hour, gusting up to 30. So you're going to get blown around a little bit today. Tonight's forecast, cloudy skies, west winds 10 to 15 miles per hour, and gusts up to 30. Tomorrow, partly to mostly cloudy, high around 40 with west winds. It's 8 o'clock. We have ABC News now, local news next.
From ABC News, I'm Brian Clark, President-elect Trump's nominee for...
All right. Well, any parting words, Mike?
It is the 16th of December. Santa is just right around the corner.
Yes, he
Most
is.
likely he's on a drone. And that's probably what we'll find out in the next week is all these things were Santa drones.
Santa drones. Just checking out if we've been naughty or nice.
Right. Just come by, drop it down your chimney, and keep on moving.
Oh, man.
He's automated. Santa is automated.
Teresa is asking, hey, I heard that McDonald's in Stevensville is closed. Is it true? Teresa,
Yeah,
we've
on,
only been
Teresa.
talking about this for 2 hours now. Yes, it's true.
It shows that you're late to the party because
No,
we've been on that.
Don't get on Teresa. All right, it's 8 o'clock. Teresa's
now we're
great.
defending Teresa.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, it's 8 o'clock.
Sorry, Teresa.
We'll see you on Friday, Mike.
Yes.
And we'll see Pat Moody on the video live stream coming up on Wednesday. All right, thanks for joining us on the video live stream. We will be back with more tomorrow.